You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday, and I am your host, Angela Smarito. And today we have a special guest, Richie Kidwell, and we're going to be talking about the Restoration Association of Florida. So Richie wears lots of hats, and he dabbles in lots of different things, but I was very intentional today for inviting you here, so welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so first and foremost, what is the Restoration Association of Florida? I call it RAF just because I'm used to like talking about it.
Right. Yeah, it's a mouthful if you have to say it all
over,
especially back to back. The
Right.
Restoration Association of Florida, or the RAF, like we call it, RAF here in the state of Florida, is a nonprofit association by contractors. For contractors is what we started out to be.
Okay.
And it's really a contractor type of network where the whole purpose was to employ unity within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all need to work with each other, and the best way to do that is to build power teams. And meaning that like a roofer would be great to work with a restoration contractor, a tarping service,
Okay.
an inspection company, and vice versa, where it's all great to work with each other, whether it be an electrician, it be a plumber, all working in the field that we represent, which is insurance-related claims. So usually when our members today are members that work, or contractors that work within property damage losses, so to speak. So when there's usually insurance involved, most homeowners don't know that they have some folks that they can call, that they can get some help, support. They know how to, the folks that we work with, the professionals in our industry are attuned to what the industry kind of, I guess, just the ups and downs of dealing with insurance billing. And we all know that most of us have dealt with a claim before in their life. Some of us
Right.
very small.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned an auto claim that you're dealing with. It's very similar in property. It just takes a lot longer. It seems like in property, it's a lot more complex. Whenever you have a property damage loss, usually contact your insurance company, and they're asking you to provide them with 3 estimates. For
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as you know, right, it's difficult, not only especially after a storm, to try to get 3 free estimates on maybe just your roof, because the same guy doesn't do, or the same profession or company doesn't do the roof and the interior and this and painting and flooring and all that stuff. And usually when there is a loss where there is a break in the roof, and now you have interior damages, and then you have mold. These are all separate vendors for the mold remediation company. You got the interior testing company like air quality assessors, and to provide some testing and some protocol of how to remove mold safely, and even to another contractor, like I said, for like flooring or painting and that kind of stuff. So it makes it difficult for a homeowner after a storm to try to get 3 estimates for each type of service.
Yeah, well, as an adulting, dealing with insurance companies has to be my least favorite thing about
Mm-hmm.
being a grown-up and a homeowner and the owner of cars and all the other stuff. I mean, from health insurance to car insurance to homeowners insurance, I mean, you name it. I honestly dislike them all. So, and when I think about the contractors, right, there's
Mm-hmm.
not like a coalition or there's nothing that's like, other than the Restoration Association of Florida, that kind of like says, hey, we're all in the same boat. Let's all
Right.
work in unison. Or
Right.
is there?
And so that was the whole reason why I started this association in 2014, is because the contractors were not wanting to unify. They were wanting to be cowboys and do their own thing.
Right.
And I saw such an opportunity for us to bridge gaps, and for us to not be jealous or want to steal other people's business, and just kind of work together to grow a bigger company and to have a bigger customer support base. What it's turned into now is informing and communicating to the homeowner as well as the contractor, so they know what to expect when a contractor knocks on their door.
Right.
our members show up to the door with a folder with their insurance in here. They're a legit company. They're not a fly-by-night company. They know what they're doing. They have the right contract set in place for the homeowner that doesn't put them in a bad place in case insurance doesn't pay. Our guys are taught to use a contract that will allow them to have deferred billing for all the services.
So you're talking about your guys being the people that are join RAF.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right. Our members are supplying to the homeowners and saying, this is the way we do it. We can offer a 90-day deferment where we'll do all the services now. We'll defer up to 90 days into which it'll give you time to get reimbursed or a payment from your insurance company in order to pay them. And at least you're not sitting in mold. You're not sitting in a place with a hole in your ceiling while you're waiting for your insurance company to do the right thing. So the folks in our network that are part of our association know how to provide that education and that type of contract to the homeowner and say, listen, we have your back. We'll hold hands with you. Now, because of all the significant law changes we had in 2022, we now have a different way of doing it. And so that one extra step to say, we're going to help you for 90 days. And if they don't pay to avoid any lien or having to pay us, then you can use what we call a letter of protection. You call an attorney will represent you, and our letter of protection and unpaid invoice goes to the attorney to get us settled.
Okay.
So very similar to a car accident. You get in an accident, and then you go to an attorney. Attorney says, go see this chiropractor, go see these people, and you're not paying anybody along the way. You pay that after you get settled. So that's the way it turned into in the property market, to where that still exists, where homeowners can still get service right now and get themselves out of a place of living in a bad environment full of mold, full of asbestos and water damage. All that stuff is very dangerous on somebody's health.
Right.
And they don't know that there are people that will help them while they're waiting on the insurance proceeds.
Well, I want to talk more about that, but let's backtrack a little bit to when it was, like you said, the Wild Wild West with, back in the day. I remember like 2004. Were you here in 2004 when we had the 3 big storms come through?
I was, but I wasn't in this industry
right. And,
at that time.
Oh my God. Charlie was the worst. But anyway, you saw blue tarps for years, right?
Years.
And it was the Wild Wild West. Like you didn't know who was coming to work on your house. You didn't know. You didn't know that because people were coming in pretending to be contractors, and they were all crooks, right? And
take people's money and not providing services and those types of things.
So as homeowners, it became a very scary thing to have contractors come to your house because you didn't know who was legit and who wasn't. At that time, you, like I said, as a homeowner, you really didn't know what to do. You didn't know who to call, and you had to rely on your insurance company to make the best decision for you.
Right, which is not the best
idea. But again, we didn't know. You know what I mean? Like you don't know when you're a homeowner and you don't live in that space. You have a homeowner's policy. You look at it; it's this thick. You sign it because you have a mortgage and you have to have it, right? So you're in a bad situation. But it's become much more than that now, right? So has the state of Florida made it safer for people to be able to use contractors? Are there more guidelines for contractors?
And so there are protections for homeowners against illegal contractors for sure. And we've seen the state of Florida step up and strengthen the laws around the misuse of unlicensed contractors.
And everybody that's in RAF is fully licensed. You guys have vetted them. You know that they're quality.
That's right. We have to get a copy of their licenses as well as their insurances to ensure that they are a legitimate business in the state of Florida with references and those types of things.
Right.
So you're not going to just start up a business and the next day join our association and expect to be listed on our website or provide the services that or be provided to homeowners on a referral. That's not the way it works, right? We've vetted these and we've worked with these contractors for years and years. Now we've been around since 2014 on this nonprofit association. So as many of our contractors, our members, have been with us that long and been of our supporters and continue to grow within this marketplace.
Okay.
And so, but we've seen so many law changes that affect the consumer. While we've seen laws strengthen that will protect homeowners against unscrupulous contractors, which is good, but we've seen a lot of the laws kind of vanish or protections from the homeowner to insurance companies if they wrongfully deny.
Right.
And so on.
And that's where we are today.
We are. And we see that those protections of bad faith and attorney fees have been taken away. So there's no hammer for insurance companies to do the right thing. So what do they want to do? They want to hold on to your money as long as they can to keep their profits up. So they'll wait to the very last minute or you to force them to pay. And if you have the right people on your team, like the folks in our network, you're only going to have to call one person and they'll give you all of the estimates that you need. So you don't need 3 estimates. That's just a faux thing that the insurance companies say. Well, go give me 3.
Hold on, I'm going to cut you off. You want to know why? Because we got to go to break.
Oh, we got to get a break.
Okay.
Right.
Don't forget what you're saying, though. All right, guys. Everybody stay tuned. We have more BaaD Radio coming up. Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Premier Couples Superstore. There is no better time than now to visit Premier Couples Superstore because they have got a huge selection of lingerie, shoes, toys, games, love oils, and just about anything you can think of. So it's 5009 South OBT or shop online at premiercouples.net because a couple that plays together stays together.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All right, we're here with Richie Kidwell with Restoration Association of Florida. And yes, Premier Couples Superstore has been a sponsor of mine since day one. So
And that was me doing the oh yeah part, just so in case you were wondering. Yeah.
So luckily we have Anna here to remind us where we left off because we were talking about the 3 estimates.
That's right.
And that's what I've always heard that. I mean, even with it, like I was telling you about the auto accident, we were dealing with this, like, I'll get 3 estimates. But where did that even come from in the first place? Is it an insurance created thing?
It really is. It just ended up being something that because they play all the tactics to slow down, right? I mean, we all know about the book, delay, deny, defend. That's part of their initial strategy is to delay as long as possible. When they ask you, the homeowner who has no experience at all dealing with an insurance claim, to go get 3 estimates, they know it's going to take you a while to get 3 estimates. And then they want you to pick the lowest estimate on top of that, in which, they have no control. We do have a homeowners bill of rights statute in the state of Florida that does protect homeowners, giving them the right to choose their own contractor.
So I don't have to, if I don't want to, go get 3 quotes?
No, absolutely not. You only have to provide 1 estimate to them. They actually provide the estimate when they come out. They when you start a claim, they send the insurance adjuster out to adjust the claim. And in the state of Florida, they have to get out there within 7 days. And they provide you this estimate within 7 days upon request of them finalizing the estimate. Now, if they're and you go get an estimate, and if they're usually close enough, then payments are made and everything gets done. If there's a significant indifference, then that's where the chess match then starts, right? Because then they'll say they'll either stick by their low estimate given by an adjuster that only did 1 estimate and is never a contractor. We've seen it to where these adjusters were working at McDonald's the week before.
Oh my gosh!
And the next week they're doing claims. I mean, it was that bad after Hurricane Michael. There was an article out that there was a guy that was literally a pig farmer a week before the storm, and he saw an article about, hey, we're hiring, and he met in a parking lot. They gave him some stuff, and
so this is the expert that they have going out telling you how much damage you have to your house and how much money they're going to give you.
Yeah. And that was who they were able to empower these people very quickly to go out and be an insurance adjuster.
So they don't have to have a license or anything?
It's what they call a 620 license, but they had the power to basically give the 620 license out very, very quickly.
Wow.
So these people with little to no experience just saw an ad, hey, you can make money adjusting claims because we just had a recent storm or hurricane. And those are the folks that were coming out underestimating these losses who don't have any idea of what's going on in a house.
Yeah, because you have to talk about the cost of goods, the cost of shingles, the cost of wood, the nails. I mean, all the things that go into. So, so that's terrible.
It is. And they were using, and the insurance companies came out with, it actually started originally by State Farm, of course. They also own SafeLight, which is weird because when you call in for auto glass, SafeLight answers the phone for State Farm, which is weird. Yeah. A little incestual, and I didn't think that was legal, but apparently it is. And so to the point to where, like, if you do call to get or trying to get a valid estimate, they use this software called Xactimate. And so what they do is they plug in the scope line items, and that pushes out a price. And it's based off of all of the, I would say, the zip code and the prices that were entered by other contractors within this software. So it's supposed to regulate, so to speak. So these folks got very little training, and they would put these line items into this formula or
like a questionnaire. It says ask the question, and then they answer it, and then it says.
And then it generates the scope and pricing and stuff like that. And usually it's very, very low, very light, and misses a lot of things. So we always recommend calling a qualified contractor that actually does this type of work instead of just providing an estimate in this Xactimate. But all of our guys that work within this insurance industry are Xactimate experts. And so when they come out to estimate whether they're doing the remediation, whether they're doing the roof, they're doing it in the same language, so to speak, or the same program that the insurance companies use.
Okay.
So when you go out as a homeowner and get a lump sum estimate from a contractor, it just says it's one line item, $28,000 to replace your roof. Well, the insurance company will come back, well, I need that broken down. How much does that go to shingles?
Okay.
How much does that go to this? And this software does that, breaks it down, and then you can really look at it apples to apples. That's why it's important to get somebody that specializes in our industry. Also within our industry, we have members that are public adjusters. And public adjusters, as well as attorneys, can give advice on what type of coverage they can have.
I don't think a lot of people know what a public adjuster is.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
So just let's tell everybody what it is. Go ahead.
Sure. A public adjuster is one of the professions outside of being an attorney that can help you, the homeowner, like an insurance agent would help for the insurance company, or as a third-party adjuster would work for an insurance company.
They cannot go to court, though. Is that correct?
Right. They're not licensed to like litigate or anything like that, but they can give you, the public adjuster works for the homeowner, work for the public, and they do it on a percentage, and that's paid at the end. So they work for you for free, no recovery, no fee.
Okay.
And they're the ones that can tell you if you have proper coverage and what could possibly be covered under the policy and what should not be. So a business owner usually looks at a policy and says, hey, we can't tell you what's going to be covered or not, but we can tell you whether we're going to accept your the job and bill your policy or not. So let me take a look.
If I had home damage and I put in a claim and I got denied, and I'm like, you know what, that's not right. Why would I go to a public adjuster before I'd go to an attorney?
There are some advantages of using a public adjuster, such as going to an appraisal or a mediation. So if you're trying to settle out early on, that would be a great use of a public adjuster to come in and help you re-estimate everything.
So they go a little bit faster than an attorney.
Well, it would seem so, yeah. But then they stop where if the insurance company reaffirms their denial and does not accept appraisal or mediation, then you do have to go to an attorney. So that would be the unfortunate part, is that if it fails with the public adjuster, then the next recourse is to file suit, which would be another percentage. And that's where you're gambling usually. But most public adjusters take around either 10 or 20%. But whenever they estimate your job, like say you estimate your roof, it might be $20,000, but maybe you missed that there was damage in your attic, damage to your ceiling, and the public adjuster finds it and estimates it. They're on average about 700% more than what you would estimate your loss to be. Not like they're inflating it, but that's really what it was. It was just that undervalued, and the public adjuster can find that for you. So that 10 or 20% they're going to take is actually you're going to net more by using a public adjuster. And then the biggest value would be the public adjuster taking it to appraisal, finding if there's an appraisal portion in the policy that says, I can invoke appraisal.
Yeah, appraisal. Okay, tell me, what do you mean by that? I know what an appraisal is, you know what I mean? But I mean, are you saying that the adjuster goes out, assesses the damage, and they come up with their own cost of what it would do to repair this home?
It's very much like a mediation, where each side hires a separate appraiser at that point in time. So the public adjuster would get in and prepare the package and get all the estimates right, match it up, see if the insurance company wants to give it a go. If they confirm their denial, but there's a clause in there for invoking appraisal, then we can invoke appraisal at some point. They possibly could, depending on what's available. And if that's the case, that fast tracks this, because they get on there pretty quickly, and it's usually done within 90 days. If you have to go the long route of litigation, it seems like it takes forever, 2 years sometimes.
The problem too is that if you have a house leak or something like that, you're compounding damage on top of damage, especially with water.
Absolutely.
I unfortunately have experience with water. We had to get a new roof, and State Farm denied us. And when we had the roofer come out, the roofer came out the same time that State Farm did, and they walked the roof together, and I thought they were going to end up in a fist fight.
It's usually what happens. State Farm usually says, I don't want to pay anything.
That's what happened.
Right. You are not in good hands, and they are not a good neighbor. That's for sure. I mean, most of our people have paid, you see all the articles out after the storm, after Helene and Milton, and you see that the insurance companies, and that's why I bring up both All Snake and State Farm, is because I call them Snake, All Snake and Snake Farm. They both, they were reported outside of Citizens. Citizens denied 77% of all claims made. 77%. That's staggering.
That's break time.
Oh, I do. It
Yep.
is.
All right. We're going to go to break. You guys stay tuned. We have more BaaD Radio coming up. Welcome back. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Body Street of Winter Park. Experience the future of fitness at Body Street in Winter Park. Lose weight, build muscle, tone your body in only 20 minutes a week. Visit bodystreet.us where I forgot that part of it. It's efficiency and I can't remember now. It's 20 minutes once a week. But bodystreet.us. And we're here with Richie Kidwell with Restoration Association of Florida. Have you ever heard of Body Street before?
No.
It's EMS, electromuscle stimulation. So you go, it's like a 20-minute, it's like what did they try to say? It's like working out with.
It's like putting like a TENS unit somewhere or whatever.
All over your body. And then
Yes.
for 20 minutes, you do different like exercises. And
you like target certain sections of your body or whatever and be like, all right, squeeze me here, squeeze me here, boom, boom.
Yep. What was it? Now I can't remember that last part of that. I'm going to have to find it again. But the owners are awesome. Like I said, they sponsor the show. They're from Germany, so we have them come on here, and we always have a great time with them. But you should check it out. It's in Winter Park. Like I said, it's a good one. But anyway.
I like it.
Restoration Association of Florida. So you were saying that with Citizens, who we have Citizens now because after I started to tell you on break how we went with Florida Peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
When we wanted to renew, they were like, okay, after your 4-point, our electrical box had a recall. And so we shelled out $3,000, got a new one, and then they denied us anyway.
They denied your renewal?
Yes.
Wow.
And so we were kind of like, what happened? And then, so at that point, it was after Ian and all of those hurricanes. And so we were kind of forced to go with Citizens. Like there literally was no other choice because we have a mortgage on our house.
Right.
So,
and Citizens is owned by the state of Florida, and it literally is called the insurer of last resort. And that's what it was set up to be when the Florida legislature created Citizens. And it was supposed to be for folks that couldn't get coverage by other insurers, and they would have to get denied 3 times before they can even go to Citizens. And then over the years, the past 5 years, they've kind of unwound that and said, okay, anybody can go to Citizens, and they're accepting everybody. Right. And then what you've seen them do is start to sell those as takeout policies to other insurance companies. They're giving all these policies to slide without even giving you an opportunity.
Well, this just happened to us for real. So Citizens did the same thing. They found a company that was going to take over our house.
Let me guess, for a lot more premium.
It was a much higher premium. And so that whole thing started to go.
Crazy.
And then the next thing you know, that company, which I don't even know the name of it, because all this stuff happens, without our knowledge.
Yeah, it was probably slide insurance.
And so then they denied us, right?
Yeah,
and
because
so
they have different underwriting than what Citizens would do. And that's what's crazy is that if you didn't notice that, they would go ahead and renew you at a higher premium with a different insurer and that you don't even know.
And then my mortgage is all of a sudden $500 a month more than it was.
Right.
And I'm like, so we had to go back to Citizens. But now in order for this, we had to get a new 4-point and
goodness.
I was forced to get flood insurance.
Yes, because of their new law. You weren't supposed to have to get insurance for another couple of years unless your house is over $750,000 of coverage A. It's on a sliding scale. Well, now Citizens says we'll continue to write wind insurance, but we will only with a caveat is in the next 5 years, all of our customers have to have flood insurance also.
Right. So
that's crazy.
So I had to buy a flood insurance policy, but I had to pay for it all cash up front.
For the year.
For the year.
Right.
And I was just like, what?
Oh.
So I have flood insurance now, but it was
amazing.
It was a nice little chunk of money that I hadn't put in this Marino family budget. But anyway, it's just,
it's frustrating.
I'm so frustrated, Richie, that I don't want insurance. And I told the insurance agent, I was like, listen, just find me the cheapest policy that I can get that my mortgage company will accept. Because they're not going to cover me. They're not going to fix anything. They're not going to do anything. So, like, I'm going to have to spend the money out of pocket anyway. So just give me the bare minimum.
Right. And that's why we have to have insurance.
$3 or $4 grand a year.
And where are the lenders, the mortgage companies? You would think that they would want you to have adequate coverage just in case a storm comes and we can't afford to pay it. I know I'm not saving up for a major storm and being held with the bag of having to replace it all out of pocket.
Right.
Again, that's why I pay insurance. That's why I think I'm in good hands. I have a good neighbor. And to find out that after these storms, what I was saying right before the break is that Citizens Insurance, the largest insurer in the state of Florida with a 1.3 million policies at that time, they had the biggest claim volume, of course. They had the bigger numbers, and they were the ones in the paper showing that they had 77% denials or payments under deductible.
What do you
between
think
those two
the
storms.
percentage is of homeowners that just give up after that first denial?
Oh, the percentage is big, and that's why they're continuing to get larger, is because they know that the average homeowner doesn't want to what they call or think that they're, oh my gosh, if I sue my insurance company, I'm going to be in trouble.
It's going to go up, yeah.
Or I'll never get insurance again. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, guys, especially under a hurricane, if you think you have damage, file the claim. That does not count against your loss runs. If you're looking for insurance and they say, how many losses have you had in the past several years, 3 years? You can say none. Even if you had a hurricane claim, they do not count against your loss runs. Mm-hmm. And that'll go big when you're looking to go to another insurance company. How many losses have you had? And if you can say 0, even if you filed a claim there, because most people, that's where they get stuck. They say, okay, I don't want to file a claim because then it'll look like I'm filing all these claims, and it'll count against me when I go and get insurance next time. But it absolutely doesn't if it's a hurricane. If you have a random hailstorm or a random wind event
that's
or plumbing backup,
it was hail.
Then it will count. But I'm telling you, if you get the repairs done and everything is tight and you complete that repair for what they paid for, then you're good for another time in case, God forbid, in case it happens again. But by getting a little bit of money or getting a payment under deductible and not fixing your house is an issue. And it's that next step of having a homeowner contact one of our members and says, hey, Citizens denied me or underpaid me, but I have $10,000 worth of work to do and they gave me $500. Like, what do I do?
Okay, so as a homeowner, I can call the Restoration Association of Florida and there'll be somebody that answers the phone that will guide me through the whole process and tell me what to do.
Right. And to the best of our ability, what we're going to do is we're going to hook you up with the correct person or company that can help you move forward. So we get all the information in. You may need a public adjuster, you may need an attorney, or may just need a dry out company that knows what they're doing and have it built to your carrier. Not for our homeowner, absolutely not.
All right, guys, you hear what he's saying here? Listen to what he's saying here is that you can call the Restoration Association of Florida if you have house damage. And there's somebody that is knows what they're talking about that is going to tell you what to do next, and it doesn't cost you money to use that service.
That's right. And you can always send us an email. First, start by going to our website, raflorida.org. We are a nonprofit association, so we're here to help you, and including the consumer. I think that's the most. I think that's the most important part is if the homeowner understands how this is going to go, what may happen at each fork of the road, then they are confident in knowing that even if we have to call an attorney after this, it's not going to be as scary as you think it's going to be, or what did they put on television that, this is a crisis going on and all these carriers are going out of business. That's false. It's all BS so they can make this crisis happen so they can, that was part of the raising the rates is so the governor, when they took $100 million from the insurance company, that was all the insurance companies that were apparently in crisis, when I'm in a crisis, financial crisis, I can't just poop out $100 million, but apparently the insurance companies, lobbyists can. And so they gave that to Governor DeSantis. And at that time, DeSantis allowed them to do whatever they wanted. So 10 years of frustrated legislation that they try to pass to try to make them in a space to no attorney's fees, and there's no bad faith mechanism,
right? So
like there used to be
back in the day. If you had damage and you had to sue your insurance company and you had to use an attorney, those attorney's fees got covered by what you won.
Right. Exactly.
That's no more.
Right. It was like if you were suing for $10,000 and you needed $10,000 to put your roof back on, and the insurance company was wrong, then they would have to pay your attorney's fee so you can get your full $10,000.
Well, now you get your $10,000, but then you have to pay 30% of it to the attorney for getting
That's right.
it. So now you got $7,000, but you still have 10. So you either get you don't go back all the way to
and
that.
if there's costs involved to get an expert in there, now you're getting what, $4,000 or $5,000 to fix a $10,000 roof. So then,
oh my gosh,
then it goes back to the homeowner, and they're like, "Is the juice worth the squeeze?"
Right.
Right? Do I go through 2 years of all this stuff and maybe even get deposed, all so I can try to get a few $1,000s that I need to put? But some people are in a spot.
Not to mention your deductible, right?
Right.
You forget about deductible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to break one more time. It goes so fast, but all right, you guys, everybody, stay tuned because we have more BaaD Radio coming up. Oh, welcome back. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Do you know what your sprinkler system did last night? Probably not. So now's a good time to get your irrigation system serviced by Ground Up Property Services today. And be sure to ask Rick Hall with Ground Up about a water sensor too, so your lawn doesn't get too much water. Call 407-468-4295 or visit groundupinc.net. You know, I am so scatterbrained, the sound of the sprinkler system. I'm like, what am I talking about now? That's a sprinkler. Anyway, no, if you've never met Rick Hall, he's an amazing person. But he has been a sponsor of the show since, actually, he was the guy I was sitting with like at Starbucks, and he was the one who said, you should have a radio show to talk to all the people in business at a distance. And that was like 4 years ago. So
That's awesome. I want to go home and check my sprinkler right now.
to see how, to make sure that's 407-468-4295. All right, Richie. So Richie Kidwell is, so you created the Restoration Association of Florida in 2014.
That's right.
So you've got, I'm going to do the math real quick. That's 6 years plus another 5 years. So we're talking about over a decade of being there and seeing the ups and downs and everything that's in the industry. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you here today is to talk about, I'm looking at it from a homeowner's point of view, but I know that for you, it's a lot about the contractors, because what we were talking about is that you've got Congress and all that stuff up into Tallahassee, right? And it's all about money. You have the insurance companies have all these big dollars, and so they have all the power. Then you have the contractors out here that are all kind of not unified. They're all over doing their own little thing, and there's not just like one. There's no synergy. There's no, like I said, everybody's kind of doing their own thing, which
Right.
I get. You know what I mean? They're usually small businesses, right?
Which then throws off the homeowner because they don't know what to expect. You know, they'll get one contractor does it one way, and another contractor, same type of profession, doing it a totally different way. And that's why we kind of specialize in insurance claim rehabilitation, more specific. And so when you're trying to find a contractor that works in this type of realm, that's where it gets more of a niche market, right? Because you can go online and find somebody to do your flooring, somebody to do some dry out, some painting, and even do your roof, and they have great ratings. And those are the folks that take these cash payments. They're like, okay, I need you to do the service, do it tomorrow. Here's the cash.
Yeah, but you're
boom.
talking about like $1,000 or something. Like I need something in my house broke. I need it fixed. Like we're not talking about insurance claims.
Right.
At this
Well,
point.
let's say this, even like the roofers that do only retail, which is just taking your cash, are not a member for me, because they don't usually work in insurance related claims. They will be the fast paced kind of, you pay me cash, I make a smaller margin, and we go on to the next one, and it's homeowner with money in hand. Right. So those are the people that are shopping. When you have money in hand, you're shopping for the best price and the best contractor.
Right.
When you have insurance and you only have money for your deductible and you're trying to find a roofer, that's where we come in.
Gotcha.
And where you're saying, okay, we have a roofer that has experience in working with insurance, right? They'll come out there, tarp your house, make sure you're dry out the inside. And, maybe they just have a contract signed and no money up front, or a contract signed and you just pay your deductible, and everything else is on pause until you get the money from the insurance company.
Right.
And the folks that are part of my association have this experience in dealing with and billing directly to the insurance and coming out there for the secondary inspection and meeting all that stuff they do for no charge. And they do it to where they can gain the trust of the homeowner and ensure that the insurance company does the right thing. Because a lot of times the insurance company will smell blood in the water, and they'll delay or slow pay or no pay, or even do it at a discount, or say to an unknowing homeowner, say, yeah, I was just up on the roof, and yeah, I know there's water coming in on the inside, but I only saw a couple broken tiles. So here's $500 for your repair for the roof. Oh, your deductible's $1,000. Oh man, sorry. we're not going to issue you payment, but we see there's damage. Good luck. Have a great day.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, so many times that's been heard, and you're like, well, what about the ensuing damage that just came in? What about drying it out? What about the mold that's accumulating on my ceiling? None of that stuff is addressed until a professional gets involved, somebody like one of our members, and they can see the whole thing. The roofers mostly are general contractors and roofers. So they'll look in the inside, they'll look in the attic and say, okay, listen, this is all this extra damage that wasn't seen by your insurance company is obvious to us, and we're going to provide that estimate with photos and all that stuff, line item by line item in Xactimate, so that way it's apples to apple comparison. Okay. So that's what a homeowner doesn't understand. When you're hiring a retail roofer to help you, they're going to come in with that lump sum estimate, not broken down, doesn't care about the inside of your house if you have mold or anything like that. They just want to just replace your roof, and they'll do it for a good, fast price. And again, maybe they have good ratings on Google, but that might not be the market you're in if you're trying to get this covered or reimbursed under insurance. Okay. So again, it's a totally separate market that most people don't really understand. But to your point, though, a lot of people don't want to fight their insurance company, so they'll get a letter. They don't
even know how.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they'll get a letter and they'll believe it, and they'll say, oh, man, they said that they're going to issue me a payment under deductible. I don't know what to do. When, in fact, you can call the Restoration Association of Florida at our number 321-219-9060, or go to our website, raflorida.org. Send us a message through there and say, I'm looking for a contractor in this area in the state of Florida, and we can provide them with one for free. We just give them a referral. We tell our referral partner to look out for this phone call or person that has some questions, and they can help them from there. Like I said, some people might need the actual roofer or contractor. Some might need the help of a public adjuster or an attorney. And there are specialized attorneys, as an attorney, several attorneys that either just got out of the market altogether or switched practices because it's so difficult.
Well, because you have this big beast of the insurance companies and all of the government people, and then you just are like, they're not organized, so they can't really fight because it's just like one voice against all these.
Right.
But the way that I kind of see what you do is that you're up there screaming, but that's why you need people to support the Restoration Association so that there is a voice for the contractors.
And we fight for the
people.
consumer because our rights are only as good as the consumer rights are.
Right.
And we've seen it over the years. Several years ago, there was a consumer advocate that is a part of the I would say I was going to say the legislature in the state of Florida, but it's a seat that is voted upon or appointed by the governor to be on the side of the consumer. And when we had these mega law changes, she was pushing back pretty hard to the point to where she left her station. I'm not going to say her name, but she was just so distraught with the way that that we were treating our consumers. And
so she just left,
and just left her post and said, I can't do this. And they didn't appoint one for a while after that, because it's like, who can sit there while all this is going on? The laws or the statutes that passed since our bought out governor got $100 million in the midst of an insurance crisis to allow all these changes to happen, where insurance companies took away the rights for us to get attorney's fees and costs for bad faith, and for these binding arbitrations, which doesn't allow a homeowner to get their day in court.
Right.
So what did we do? We filed suit as the Association of the Restoration Association of Florida against the Office of Insurance Regulation for this on behalf of us and the consumers to say that's not fair. Mm-hmm. And we got them to back that out and said, okay, we can't just mandate binding arbitration without giving you a discount or offering you a policy that says, okay, we're going to restrict your day in court, but we're going to give you a reduction
is that you're
for that.
Paying attention. That's what's going on, is that you're paying attention, and then you'll file suit and things like that, but we're running out of time, and I don't want to do that. So, because I still want to talk more about this, so we're going to have you on the show again.
No problem. But we stand up for consumers, and we help contractors stay within this industry, be good people, know what they're doing, help out consumers by allowing them to defer payment.
Like contractors can join.
Absolutely. Contractors can join by going to our website, raflorida.org. You will get scrutinized. We will check your references. You will have to fill out an application, and you will have to join our membership. And then you will get mentored. You will get the right contracts to use in the state of Florida that doesn't hurt homeowners, doesn't lien their homes. It allows us to go after the insurance company through the homeowner and not lien their home, which is very important.
Right.
People that have been in this situation, got work done, couldn't afford to pay it, didn't get reimbursed, get a lien on their home, and that's very bad.
No, that is so bad. Well, thanks for coming in today. All right, everybody. So stay tuned, because we have another full hour of BaaD Radio coming up.